All right, so today we're upgrading the cooling system in this little blue Jeep. We're doing a Radiator, ZJ fan clutch, and a Hayden transmission cooler. Stay tuned and go wheel. All right, so what we did today was put in a Napa radiator because the Mishimoto was bent, like the radiator was visually bent. Then we put in a Hayden 679 transmission cooler, and then a ZJ fan clutch, which is the 272310 part number from Napa, which is a massive difference, as you can see in the video. You know, I was worried about the symptoms that we were having, where with the AC on, it was getting warm, like 220, 225, when it was only 85 degrees out, not the 105 degree weather we often can get in the mountains here east of Sacramento. And so I wanted to upgrade pretty much the last few things. We'd already replaced the cylinder head. We had done like the electric fan, but unbolting the fan shroud and taking out the E-fan here. I bag everything up and label it. Just taking off the grill right here. Taking off that upper radiator support. And then kind of moving on to popping out the air box. Next, I need to get the coolant out. This thing's pretty cold, so that's good. I had it idling to bring it in here. Disconnect the lower radiator hose. Disconnect the transmission lines, which the bottom one probably sucks to get to. Disconnect the upper hose. I'll pull out the upper radiator support next. Kind of line everything up over here. Label everything, bag and label everything. So the long line is the top one. The one that kind of snakes under is the bottom one. I know it's really hard to see, but I'm doing this mostly for myself. This guy keeps spinning, got to figure that out. So there's a drain plug down in here that I'm trying to get to from the bottom. See if it works. So here's the difference. This is the stock XJ fan clutch. This is the HD one, the 272310 from a ZJ. Little sticks out a little more. I never know a great way to reassemble a fan clutch other than just kind of holding it and using a long-handled wrench. The fan clutch bolts are always a tight fit. It's kind of a bitch to get to them. So basically just trying to get those nuts on right now. So for the transmission cooler, I end up using one of the little through chingas that go through and mounting it to one of the front grill supports, and then just using like 2 self-tappers to mount it to the front cross member. And that's kind of it for now. I'm sure it'll hold just fine. I've often just used zip ties to hold them in place, so should work just fine. This line right here, I'm assuming that's the I don't know what you call it, like the non-return line, the entry line, the in line, and then this line I'm assuming is the return line that kind of goes under the balancer. Oh well, that balancer don't look so. So anyways, probably need a new balancer soon, one of these days. But yeah, so I'm mounting it right here. Just did a single guy right there and some self-tappers right here. Super simple install on the Hayden for now, so it might change down the road. Whatever's quick and dirty to get it done. And then yeah, I gotta cut that inner hard line somewhere and flare it, and then run it over here. Probably should cut it over here somewhere. So next I'm just working on splicing the new soft lines into the transmission cooler, cutting the old hard lines, cutting the old soft lines, and doing the splicing. It's just it's a tight space to be using a reamer, and just kind of a tight space in general underneath there. And while I was doing all this, I recognized that I need a new harmonic balancer, probably in the near future. There's the flare, and we're gonna tap it into this guy and call it done. We cut off this section, and then we flared what was left. I'm gonna tap a soft line into that. I end up wrapping these lines with another set of line just to make sure they don't ever get cut on anything sharp that's under there. Put the fan shroud on now before you get the upper radiator support in there. You'll thank yourself later. You're going to be messing with the radiator for a little bit just because those lower mounts have like two little studs that stick into the bushings in the cross member, and it's hard to get it perfectly situated, so you're going to go back and forth a little bit. Don't forget to put the little rubber mounts on top of the thing. I've forgotten to put those on before and figured out why the upper radiator support does not go on. The E-fan is always a tight fit for some reason. It is very tight. That little nut on the fan motor was hitting the power steering pump. It was super annoying. Basically on the home stretch now, and dumping in a little ATF to account for what we lost, plus the larger capacity. Just kind of guessing there. This is a first. The Lyle funnel kit is hitting this chinga right here. Never ever seen that happen before, and I've used this Lyle filler no spill funnel kit for very, very many years, and so I'm very surprised. I'm gonna have to notch this guy to fit in there flush, and then order another fill kit for regular stuff, I guess. So it's kind of a bummer. I had to modify the Lyle funnel kit to fit in there. I love these Lyle like funnel kits for filling radiators. My buddy Spencer turned me onto these years ago. They're absolutely amazing. Love it for bleeding cooling systems. All right, so this week we upgraded the cooling system on the little blue Jeep right here. Running 29-inch tires on a 2-inch lift on this little blue Jeep. Maybe not even a 2-inch lift, like a 1 in the front and 2 in the rear. That Hayden cooler will probably be fine up to 31s or 33s. You know, my crawler behind us, I run a massive stacked plate transmission cooler that's made for like towing a motorhome, towing a fifth wheel with like a full-size pickup. And then I run the 10-blade electric fan on the crawler, which is like right here. So this guy has like massive cooling. He also has a 2-row radiator with 1-inch rows that's all aluminum. Whereas this little 2000, not super worried about having that extra cooling capacity with like a 2-row aluminum with wide cores. And I'm not super worried about putting the fan on a switch. This thing mostly seems to be okay. It was getting up to like 220, 225 with the AC on, only with the AC on, which was concerning because it shouldn't be running that hot after doing a cylinder head, right? With like a new electric fan and a new fan clutch. Well, we'd put a stock fan clutch on there. It's okay. The old one was toast. It was like totally fried. We did something in the meantime, and then, you know, getting the ZJ upgrade should be huge.